Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dissect the financial statement so you don't have to. And today we've got a filing from Allurion Technologies Incorporated that might just raise an eyebrow or two. So what exactly are we looking at here? It is a pretty standard report, a Form 8K, which is basically a way for companies to announce major events that shareholders should know about. In this case, Allurion Technologies Incorporated is telling us about some preliminary financial results for the quarter and the full year that ended December 31st, 2025. Now, before we dive into the numbers, let's quickly look at what is being traded on the exchange. They have their common stock, which is trading under the ticker Allure on the New York Stock Exchange. And then there are warrants trading as Allure WS, which essentially give the holder the right to buy shares of common stock at a certain price. It is important to note that Allurion Technologies Incorporated is marked as an emerging growth company, which usually means they have some flexibility in how they report their financial information. Here is where things get a bit more interesting. We see some details about warrants to purchase a pretty large number of shares of common stock, and importantly, at an exercise price of $8.10 per S-share. This tells us there is potential for future dilution if these warrants are exercised, which can impact the value of existing shares. The core of this filing really comes down to the press release about their preliminary financial results. Think of this as the company giving us a sneak peek at their performance before the full audited numbers are released. This is often where they highlight what they want investors to focus on, so we need to read between the lines. While the actual financial tables aren't directly displayed here in the 8K itself, the filing tells us that the press release, which is incorporated by reference, contains these preliminary results. This means we have to rely on what they've chosen to share publicly in that press release to get a sense of their performance for the fourth quarter and the full year of 2025. Usually, companies will provide key metrics like revenue, profits, and maybe some guidance for the future. What we can gather is that this report is being filed on January 12th, 2026, and it is referencing financial data that closed on December 31st, 2025. This means the numbers presented in that press release are fresh, giving us a very current snapshot of the company's financial health. Now, even though we don't have the full financial statements in front of us in this specific document, the fact that they are issuing an 8K to announce preliminary results suggests they believe these numbers are significant enough to warrant immediate disclosure. Often, companies will have a specific reason for announcing preliminary results. Perhaps to manage investor expectations before a more formal earnings call or to respond to market rumors. The real value here lies in understanding what those preliminary results might be saying about Allurion Technologies Incorporated's trajectory. Are they seeing growth? Are they facing challenges? The market will be eagerly looking at these numbers to gauge the company's overall direction, its ability to generate sales and control its costs. When a company talks about preliminary results, it is a signal to pay close attention to the narrative they are trying to create with these numbers. When we look at companies like Allurion Technologies Incorporated, especially those with warrants outstanding, we want to see revenue growth that outpaces potential dilution. It is important to see if their core business is healthy and if they are effectively managing their operations. Are they expanding their market share, or are they struggling to keep up with competitors? The numbers in that press release are designed to answer these questions, even if they're just preliminary. For investors, these types of announcements are crucial. They offer an early look at the company's performance, allowing for timely decisions. It is like getting a heads up on the final score before the game is officially over. We'll need to see if the preliminary figures indicated strong sales or if there were unexpected downturns. We also want to know how their expenses are stacking up against their revenue. Now, let's think about the bigger picture here. Allurion Technologies Incorporated is in a competitive space, and its ability to innovate and execute its business strategy will be reflected in its financial results. The preliminary numbers are the first hints we get about whether their strategy is paying off. We're looking for signs of sustainable growth and profitability. Are they investing wisely in their future? And is that investment starting to translate into tangible financial gains? The preliminary nature of these results does mean we should approach them with a slight degree of caution. They haven't been fully audited yet. So there is always a possibility of minor adjustments. However, the broad trends and significant figures are usually quite reliable. It is the market's first real indication of how the year has ended for them. In essence, this 8K filing, while brief, is a gateway to understanding Allurion Technologies Incorporated's recent performance. It points us towards the press release where the actual story told through financial data unfolds. We need to analyze that press release carefully to see the direction the company is heading, assess any potential risks indicated by the numbers, and determine if this is a company poised for future success or facing headwinds. So, what's my take on this filing? Allurion Technologies Incorporated is providing an early look at their financial performance. This suggests they have something important to communicate about their results for the end of 2025. The presence of warrants also means we need to be mindful of how future stock issuances could impact the current share price. While we don't have the exact numbers here, the filing itself acts as a signal for investors to pay very close attention to the upcoming press release. The key will be to see if the preliminary profit margins are healthy and if revenue growth is strong enough to support potential future dilution from those warrants. Alright, that is our quick decode of this Allurion Technologies Incorporated filing. What is your take on these preliminary results and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.